Welcome to episode 4 of Millennial Real Life Budget Review. Today we are covering a kindergarten teacher and her husband. She makes $46,000 per year and her husband is a full-time student. They have a couple of areas that they want to address in their budget and their finances, such as student loan debt and saving for a down payment and starting a family. Check out exactly how I would rework their budget to help them reach their financial goals in this video. Hey guys, it's Justine with Debt Free Millennials, the channel to help you crush your debt and live payment free. Now in this new series, I actually am working with real individuals, real millennials on their budget. I'm looking at their income and expenses, asking them about their biggest financial struggles and what some of their biggest financial goals are, and changing up their budget to reflect how to combat those struggles and really hit those financial goals. So let's learn a little bit more about this couple. So this is a kindergarten teacher and her full-time student husband living in Oregon. So she says that the biggest thing that they're struggling with financially is there never seems to be any money left over. She currently makes $46,000 per year as a kindergarten teacher, and her husband does have some side hustle opportunities, but right now he's in school full-time until June of 2023. Her take-home pay is $2,600 every single month, and they haven't been paying back any of their student loans because of the extension payment and pause waiver that is going on until June. She also mentions, and I'm kind of reading between the lines, is that because she's the only one bringing in an income, I sense that there's a lot of financial anxiety and worry about being able to support the two of them on a little budget and also saving for all of their goals. She mentions that she thinks they have a lot of unexpected expenses pop up, which prevents them from saving. Now, I have a feeling that there are actually a lot of expenses that are going to come up that we can anticipate rather than them feeling unexpected. So I also asked her what were her top financial goals, her and her husband, that they wanted to accomplish. The first one was, she said they wanted to pay off their student loans, save up for a down payment on a house / starting a family, and then have enough money in their savings and retirement in order to feel secure. Another note that she mentioned to me is they have $6,270 in their emergency fund. Okay, here's a look at their most recent budget. Now, she did mention she brings home $2,600. It does look like she forecasted just $200 extra. I don't know if that's from the husband's side hustle money, but she forecasted $2,800 here. In this particular month, she got a bonus from work, so her actual take home was $35,66.61. That said, even though she got the bonus, it does look like she still overspent $311. Okay, let's go down to the bottom here, because I do see Mohila, which she did express to me was hers, and then her husband is also going to have his own Mohila loan, which is a total of $16,000 once he graduates, and then after that 6-month grace period, he would be responsible for. So those are the debts that they have, is 2 Mohila loans and a Parent Plus loan. And then let's go down to the actual budget. So their rent right now, or mortgage, is $1,000, which is really good. Their cell phone, $45, internet, $55. Groceries, they planned on $400, but they actually spent close to $800. So this is obviously a big jump in how much they actually spent on groceries. So we may need to address that. Electricity, water, I'm assuming these are the averages, so it's okay that this is slightly over considering this is a winter month that she gave me this budget. Gas was about spot on. Let's see what else. Okay, let's go down to fun because the rest of these look okay. Restaurants, they only budgeted $80 and yet spent $400 on restaurants. They only budgeted $50 for shopping and yet spent $327. So right here, we have over $700 going towards restaurants and shopping alone. So That is a problem, and $100 towards the clothing. So we're creeping up close to $1,000 here. And if I'm taking a look at what the actual income is, that's a third of your income going to just these three things alone. Your subscriptions look okay. Everything else looks fine here. I love that you're still contributing to the emergency fund. $350 is a big chunk of what you've actually planned out here, so I love to see that. Vacation got $100 and investing got $100. So here's where I would start to make some changes. One thing that you mentioned is you want to pay off the student loans. Thankfully, you have the extension of the payment and interest waiver until June of 2023. Ironically, the same month that your husband is graduating. So hopefully he has a job lined up very quickly after that. If he can do that and get his income up, that's really going to help you make momentum on those student loan payments. But before we can get into the debt-free payoff plan for your student loans, we have to make sure that the amount of money in your emergency fund is actually going to be of use to you in case of job loss or a medical emergency or a car accident, anything like that. And so what we'll want to do is take a look at what your basic living expenses are. This is what needs to be in your emergency fund first before you get all crazy with the debt payoff. So I like to see the rent and mortgage payment, your cell phone, internet, groceries, your utilities for sure, your gas for sure. Let's go ahead and add all of this up. So in order to cover 1 month completely of your basic living expenses, which is everything that I see right here, is $2,191. That is 1 month of living expenses. Ideally, I would want you guys to have 2 to 3 months of living expenses set aside in cash in a high yield savings account. Now, I just did a whole video on the best high yield savings accounts available to you right now that is paying really good interest. And so you'll want to move that money over because that interest is free cash that builds on your emergency fund. So if roughly $2,200 is equal to 1 month, let's see how much 2 months of expenses are. $4,300, and then let's see how much 3 months expenses are. $6,573. Okay, so you already told me that you had $6,270 in your emergency fund. So 3 months expenses, you have close to 3 months expenses anyways. This is really good news. So what I would do is for the next month, for the next month's budget, is set aside another $300 and then stop saving for the emergency fund. Keep it at the 3 months living expenses, and then we are going to stop saving for it temporarily, and we're going to move that $350 in towards paying off the student loan debt. So this is really great news. So if this was, let's say I just duplicate this. Actually, no, I'm not going to duplicate this. I'm just going to switch this around. No, I'll duplicate it. Okay, let's say that you do that in December, and then January is where you would completely zero out your emergency fund, and then your running total for your emergency fund would be the $6,573, or you could just call it $6,500, and that's it. We're good to go there. Then we're going to take that extra that you have right here, and again, this would be for January. We're going to take this extra $381, and this is where we can start pulling some money into paying down that debt. There's a couple of ways that you could do this. Is you could start with the lowest outstanding balance, which would be this Parent Plus loan. And was this taken out under your name, or was this taken out under a parent's name and your parent is asking you to pay them back for that? I'm curious how that's working. Regardless, if you want to start with the debt snowball journey, this is the one that I would start with. Also, ironically, this is your highest interest rate. So again, you could start with the Parent Plus loan and be good with that. Another thing that I wanted to pull up and show you is the debt reduction calculator. This is by vertex42.com. This is a free debt reduction calculator. I already started plugging this in for you to show you exactly what this would look like. So if we had an extra, let's say $300 that could go towards this, so we'd be paying $600, right? Because your minimum payment right now would be the $308. And then whenever his Mohila loan kicks in, then this is what you would add to that. And then you could see exactly how this would work for Debt Snowball. And then make sure you change the balance date up here at the top. Let's change this to, let's say we did it. So then you can see exactly down here at the bottom how much in interest you would pay and then how many years it would take you to pay that off. So ideally, you would be putting money towards his Mohila loan as well. And then you can see exactly how this would change things, right? So you can see Parent Plus loan would be paid off by 2026 if you only put an extra, $200. But I think what's going to make this interesting right now is that if I zeroed these out, because that's what's going to happen between January, if you start paying on this again between January and June, you'd have 6 months of payments going directly towards the principal and no interest is accruing. So this is where I think you'd have to play around with the calculator a little bit just to get these numbers a little bit more accurate. But I love going over to this tab, the payment schedule, to show you exactly how many payments you would actually be making and for how long. It breaks it down per month to show you exactly. This is going to change. This is what makes your situation a little bit tricky because your husband's still in school. This is going to change dramatically once your husband gets a job because that extra income is really going to help you guys pay off the student loan debt. And that's another thing, is that we have to keep our lifestyle pretty comparable while we're paying off the debt. Notice I have not talked about your down payment fund at all during this time because it is going to be crucial for you to take your energy and focus it in one direction. I don't know if you've ever seen that illustration where it shows your energy in a circle and then it shows your energy going out in like 12 different directions. Maybe it's the student loan debt, the down payment, the rent and the mortgage, the shopping, the vacation fund, the investing. And if you are just increasing it marginally in these 12 different areas, you're only going to move the needle just a little bit and it's going to feel like you're not making progress at all. Whereas if you take that same energy circle and you instead get rid of 11 of those different areas of focus and you only stick with one, which would be the student loan debt, and we're pulling everything towards the student loan debt, imagine how quickly that you guys could actually pay that off. $45,000 in combined student loan debt between the two of you, depending on what his job and industry that he gets his salary. This isn't bad. This is doable, and especially because you have no interest accruing for the next 6-7 months, you're in a really good position. There's an opportunity here for you to pay down those balances. So that is where I would focus on too. So step one, an extra $300 towards your emergency fund and then stop. Reallocate that money to step two and start paying down those debt balances, especially your Mohila and your Parent Plus loan. I would start with the Parent Plus loan actually and just focus everything on that Parent Plus loan. Get it down, as I would like to see this balance under $10,000 by the time the interest accrues and by the time interest kicks in July. So that's how I would start working this and do this debt snowball on this. Also, if I'm going back into your budget here, is we've definitely got to address the restaurants and shopping. I don't know how anybody, like a couple, could do an $80 per month restaurant budget. It just does not seem possible in 2022, 2023. Like maybe that's a Chick-fil-A dinner once a week, in all honesty. So I think there's some things that we should address here. Also, I would completely stop this outside investing. If you are investing through your school and they have a 403B, let's use that right now and that's it. We can go back and add in outside investing once we're done paying off the student loans. And I would say the same thing for your husband's future job. Let him get on an employer-sponsored retirement plan, especially if they have a match, and let's just do those retirement plans now and leave the outside investing for later. That's exactly how I did it. I did not do any outside investing until I was completely debt-free, and that's fine. We're talking about $100 a month. I think that $100 per month really could be utilized for some other things. And also, you said, here's another thing, is that you talked about a down payment fund, but I don't even see this listed here. We need to definitely add in the down payment fund to your future savings goal. So if you are like, well, I want to save for the down payment now, let's put any extra income that we have from maybe your husband's side hustle towards that down payment fund while we focus your income on the debt. That is one way to do that. Otherwise, we could start pulling from different areas. So you could maybe split this 50-50. And if you're like $50 per month, that's crazy. Well, this is better than what was currently going on because you didn't have it as part of your budget to begin with. So we definitely need to add that in. And then I would really reflect on what's going on with your fund money budget. There is some discrepancies here. If you truly are spending $400 in restaurants per month, we absolutely have to address that. And we need to start bringing that back down to realistic levels that are based off of what you're actually bringing home. And so this is why I think if your husband can be better with time management, and I guess I'm speaking to both of you because I hope the two of you are watching this together. So hubs, if you can just time management, I know especially if you're in grad school, it is a huge time suck and you are up late studying, you're writing papers, and also I feel that if you have even just 5 hours of free time during the week, let's utilize that to pick up some side hustle money. Is it as easy as doing something like a DoorDash, or can you freelance or consult on the side for a few hours per week? I think that is going to help alleviate some of the financial anxiety that your wife is feeling, so that you feel like, okay, this is where we're at. This is a partnership. We're together on this. We are together on this with our finances. We are together on this in our marriage. And the reason why I'm sacrificing this time right now is so that we can have a better future in front of us. And if that means I need to pick up a side hustle for 5 hours out of the week, that's what I'm going to do, and know that this is going to pull me away from other things in my life, but this is a sacrifice I'm willing to make. And keep in mind, this is temporary. Everything that we are talking about right now is temporary and is going to last maybe for the next 6 months. Once you graduate and get that job, I think things are really going to turn around for the two of you. So another thing, and I know I'm looking at your November budget, and so Thanksgiving and the holidays can kind of be expensive months. And if we need to maybe pause during the holiday months and say, you know what, I'm going to start the emergency fund and the debt-free payoff plan in January, February, that's completely fine. So instead of throwing the extra $300 in December, filling out your emergency fund, I would just take that $300 and make sure that you guys feel like, okay, Christmas and Thanksgiving is taken care of. We already made plans, whatever that may be, and then you have that extra income. What I don't want to see is that you keep going negative and pulling from savings. And I'm really thankful to see that you don't have any credit card debt. That if you had credit card debt, this is way worse. To be honest, this would be way worse. But it's not. This is very doable. I just think you need to be a little bit more diligent and figure out exactly what's going on with the fund money and even like your grocery spending. I know grocery inflation is going up. So let's take a look by continually tracking those expenses. In fact, I have grocery spending trackers, restaurants, shopping, and more, all printable trackers that you can download through my How to Control Your Spending workbook, which is listed for sale in the link below. Okay, so that's a look inside of the couple from Oregon, their budget. I think it's doable. They do have a small income right now, but I see a lot of opportunity to make some shifts and changes, especially with stopping your emergency fund account once it gets to that $6,500. pay off the student loan debt. Then you can go back to really amplifying your down payment and also building that emergency fund up to a fully funded amount between 6 to 12 months. I like doing 6 months personally. I have a whole video on emergency funds if you want to check that out up here, but I think you got it. I think you know that. So long as you're not pulling from that money when you are having a tight month, that just goes down to, okay, what is the focus right now? And I think that it was unclear for you guys before because your direction was going in like 12 different ways. Right now, the direction is $300 to the emergency fund, boom, done. Next direction, student loan debt. Once you get a handle on that, and I really feel like once you get your job secured, that is when you guys can really explode with the down payment savings. If you liked this episode, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. And if you want to go further and deeper with your budget and your financial goals, I have my one-on-one monthly budget coaching program, Budget Bootcamp, for you to check out. That is linked below. I'll catch you in the next one.